FM.
We've been having this feature on the historical mosques of South Africa. We'll be chatting today with about the Ladysmith, the Ladysmith Sufi Mosque. So looking forward to that conversation with Dr. Moeddin Khan. That comes up later on. Let's look at two takes around Palestine. Later on, we'll talk about the storming of the mosque overnight. Huge issue. In the meantime, we have with us Ibrahim Samadi, who's the action spokesperson for the Palestinian Action organization, and we're going to find out what they're doing or trying to do in Leicester, in England, so in the UK. Ibrahim, I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining me. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So I look at your T-shirt. It's very clear. The branding is obvious. Palestinian Action. Action for what, and what are you doing this time around?
So Palestine Action is a direct action network here in the UK. They have a we have a primary target in Elbit Systems. Elbit Systems is Israel's largest arms manufacturer, a private one as such. It manufactures over 85% of the drones which have been marketed as battle tested, drones which are tested on the imprisoned population of Gaza. They manufacture components and weaponry and surveillance systems which have been also implemented on the apartheid wall in Gaza, keeping the people imprisoned and hindering their movements every step of the way. Elbit Systems has had 10 sites here in the UK, and after a sustained direct action and protest movement over the course of nearly 2 years since Palestine Action's debut, one of their sites here in Oldham was eventually shut down. It wasn't profitable enough for Elbit Systems to run that site here in Oldham because of the sustained movement of direct action from Palestine Action and the daily and weekly protests that were carried out by the people of Oldham, who once they realized what was sitting there in their backyard didn't want it anymore and went out in front of the factories day in and day out. And eventually Elbit Systems has decided to sell the factory for a loss as well.
Okay. So is that your plan as Palestine Action, where you find there are commercial entities committed to the Israeli government and doing something that, let's call it offside, that you want to raise the awareness in the hope that you want to effectively get rid of them? Yeah.
In a way, because Palestine, not just Palestine, Elbit Systems has been operating on UK soil for a very long time, and there have been protests and there have been petitions that were signed repeatedly to stop this, to cause, to support the BDS movement, to impose sanctions, to stop the selling of arms which are illegal under international law. But none of that has ever happened, because when profit is involved, the voices of the people will not reach anywhere. So with Palestine Action, we take the power into our own hands because we have the power. We have the power to create change as a people, and the people went out and made their voices heard and then shut down.
It gets me thinking. It gets me thinking about just how powerful is your lobby, and how important is it to lobby, to mobilize the lobby, to be able to highlight issues and effectively drive them out, whatever the issue is. Today it's Israel and the Elbit Systems. Tomorrow it could be something else.
Of course, and at the moment, Palestine Action focuses on Elbit Systems because it is it's a prime target, because it is an Israeli-owned company, an arms company. It markets its weapons as battle tested. It ticks all of the boxes for the BDS movement. It's there for the taking. It's nothing in what they do can be justified under any form of morality. There are, of course, multiple companies in the UK that also do support the apartheid system. They do sell, whether it's weaponry, equipment to Israel. But in Palestine Action, we have one target at the moment, and then we take it one target at a time. We set smart goals, and then we take them as they come.
Okay, just lastly, therefore, what is the response from the British government to this?
There have been a lot of since Palestine Action's debut over nearly 2 years ago. There have been over 170 arrests for actionists. None of them have actually made it to a trial. No one has been convicted in a court of law. There have been many attempts to cause fear amongst the actionists by storming homes, arresting people, taking equipment, whether it's laptops, phones, passports even. But the more oppression we face by the state, the more we know that we're on the right side of history.
Okay, and that's where we'll leave it, on the right side of history. Is there any final point you should just alert us to?
Well, a final point is that with Palestine Action in the past 2 years, the movement all it's seen is growth and greater successes. The more people join, the more we can take action, and the more we can shut Elbit down. There's a quote that we usually use. It's a quote by David Graeber. He says that protest is like asking the government to dig a well for you, but direct action is grabbing your shovel and digging a well and daring them to stop you. And that's what we've done. We've taken our shovels and we've dug our own wells.
Well, I certainly want to know a lot more about what you do, and therefore I'm going to look you up on Twitter and follow you and follow Palestine Action and see what comes out of that. I'll do that right away. Ibrahim Samadi, they were the spokesperson for Palestine Action, and that's what they call Palestine Action. In this case here, putting pressure on a company called Elbit, so not to be confused with ALBIT, it's ELBIT, Elbit Systems, that produces the type of drones needed, used by the Israelis against the Palestinians, and therefore pressure, and they've shut them down. He spoke about Oldham, which is in Lancashire, if I'm not mistaken, in England, and of course Leicester and many other parts of the UK. Thank you so much for your time, Ibrahim Samadi. Right, we'll talk another story on Palestine in terms of the actual attack within the Al-Aqsa Mosque that happened shortly. To get us there, we'll chat to Hussein Shunara from the Africa Muslims Agency.